All right, so through chapter 8, we are going to be talking about high performance teams because ultimately, at any given point during our career, we're going to be asked to work within a team environment. So, our hospitality teams, they can be within departments, okay? They can be cross functional, meaning that they can work with different departments. They can be focused on a continuous improvement, that PDCA cycle, to figure out what we can do to continually improve. And then they can also be on a task force. They want to have like a specific task that they're going to be focusing on rather than just saying maybe an overall general continuous improvement process. We're going to focus on one specific task, and that's what a task force is. So teams can be made up of members from where? Do you think a single department or several departments? The answer is both. Okay, so it can be within one department, but it can also include members of different departments. Teams can be temporary or permanent. What do you think? All right, so they can be temporary or permanent based on what the goals and the needs of that group are specifically. Okay, team meetings can be formal, routinely scheduled, casual, or scheduled only as needed. What do you think? All right, so all four of these. And so the whole point of this is that there's no one right way of putting a team together. Okay, there's multiple ways and multiple things that teams can do, and depending on what the purpose of that team is, we need to make sure that the meetings happen appropriately, that the makeup of the group is appropriate, and we want to make sure that all different parties are represented. So again, ultimately, we are stronger when we work together as a team rather than working individually. And so we can support more weight, we can support more initiatives, we can do a lot more within the organization if we are working together as a team. Now, as a team, we have, as an organization, we have a responsibility to make sure that our teams are high performing. So first, we need to give that direction and what the parameters of that team activities are going to be. That way, we want to make sure that they are focused on what they should be working on. That's also called scope. Okay, so what is the scope of the project, and what is the purpose of that team? Okay, and so by giving that clear direction and the parameters, it allows us, that team, to be more focused and to work specifically on the project that they're supposed to be working on. Okay, we also want to make sure they have access to information and the facilities that are needed. So if they need a facility to meet in on a regular basis, if they need access to our sales reports, if they need access to our occupancy percentages, we want to make sure that the team has the access to that. Now, that's why it's important to have teams that are made up of members through different departments, because different people are going to have access to different levels of information. The other thing we want to do is have some team training, right? So we don't want to just put everybody in a room together and say, go for it. Because I'm sure you've all been in group projects where your teacher either assigned groups or you got to pick your groups and they just said, go for it. And they give you a little bit of directions on the project, but not really, they're not super clear. And think about how effective your team worked together in that specific example. So sometimes we need to do some training to get people to start in that mindset of working together and having that collaborative environment, okay? Then we also want to have these award and recognition systems in place. So as the teams are functioning at a high level, we can reward them for that. And so if their task is to finish this project by the end of the year, and if they do that, well, then we have an award and a recognition system in place so they know exactly what to expect.